And good morning. Just like that, it is an NBC 10 coffee break on your Tuesday morning. It is Earth Day. It is April 22nd, and I want to thank you for waking up with us and joining us online today. Jean Valicenti is coming up in just a few minutes, but first, of course, our top story this morning has to do with the Karen Read retrial. She's on trial again for murder. It took 10 days to select 18 jurors. Everybody's talking about this morning, but only 12 of them will end up deliberating. So how did all this shake out? Katie Benoit from NBC 10 is covering this trial a second time around, and here she is.
Dedham, Massachusetts, where opening statements in Karen Read's second murder trial are expected to begin. She's accused of backing into her Boston police officer boyfriend John O'Keefe with her SUV in 2022. Now, this is happening after 10 days of jury selection. Opening statements are expected to happen this morning, and two different attorneys are expected to be giving those opening statements. For the defense, Alan Jackson is expected to deliver opening statements, and for the prosecution, Hank Brennan. I'll be in the courtroom this morning, and I'll have updates on X. I'll also have an update this afternoon.
All right, Katie, we'll be following her. Jean, good morning. This is the story of the day. I know it's a big national story. It's not your favorite story, but nonetheless, it's happening. What do you think is going to happen this time around?
Well, I'll tell you, it's fascinating. It's almost like it's made for TV. There are two series out there, right? One on Netflix, and I think one on another cable carrier. And she's really become a celebrity defendant. And it's ironic that her lawyers can't speak. They're under a gag order.
Right.
And the prosecution can't speak. They're under a gag order, but she can.
She's talking all the time.
She's talking all the time on the way in and on the way out. So, yeah, I think the circus is yet to start up there. I'll be honest. I did not see the fascination with this case when it started, but I can't deny that people are fascinated by it. I can't deny that we're going to have special updates. I'll be involved every day. We'll be doing special updates on this, and I'll be doing it on the radio. So it's high interest.
It's very high interest.
No matter what you think of her or the story or the explanation on both sides, it's high interest, and I can't deny that. It's a real.
Well, it's also bigger than her too, right? It's also bigger than her as we look at the Canton Police Department and all the drama surrounding the investigation. It's really made for Dateline, right? And Court TV. It's got so many tentacles to it, this story.
Who's the guy who does it on Dateline? Keith Morrison.
Keith Morrison, who I worked with.
And then we have the real story came about. Yes. Yeah,
that's right.
Keith Morrison. So you're right. I may go up there myself and check this out in person just to get the flavor of it.
Yeah, when I was working in Boston, I covered quite a few stories in that courthouse. It's not a very big courthouse. It's in a pretty square, but the story has so many different parts to it. Of course, all the Karen Read supporters, all the drama with Turtle Boy. So it's wild. It's interesting.
The nutshell of the story hasn't changed. She said they were out drinking. They were invited back to another couple's house, and they pulled up in the driveway. He got out to see if the party was still on. She stayed in the car, and she says he never came back out, and I got mad and left. And that's the defense. And she says if anybody hit him with the car, it was somebody in that house or
it's
somebody
this whole notion that she's been framed, right? And then there's allegations that the police department is corrupt and how the investigation unfolded. There's so many parts to it. So we'll see. Let's take a prediction. Right. How long do you think it'll take this time around? Longer or shorter?
What did it take the last time? 3-4 weeks?
Felt like forever.
Yeah.
It really did. I bet a month.
I think that's a good
yeah.
I think that's a good guess, a month. Yeah, sure.
The big get will also be, depending on what the jury decides, talking to the jury members afterwards. When I was at Dateline, when I was doing network news, that was always the big get after these big trials, is speaking to all the jurors. So we'll see what happens with that. Because Karen's already talked. She's talked to everybody. She's talked to Fox 25. She's talked to Dateline. So she's talked to Vanity Fair. So the big get will really be the decision makers in this case, I think. Yeah. And the judge doesn't seem to be a huge fan of hers. That's the way I read it anyway. And her team.
I don't know. This is the retrial, second bite at the apple. I mean, the judge, I think, is going to tighten up everything.
She already has, yes.
Really tighten up everything. Whatever errors or whatever things she wants to do differently, she'll do them differently in this particular case.
So, yeah, so we will keep an eye on this for sure. So today's a big day. That's starting out today. We're also following the developments, of course, with the passing of Pope Francis. There you are. You and I have both been here before at the Vatican in Rome. People are starting to show up more and more, and we're expecting the burial to happen on Saturday, and then all the drama, if you will, with the conclave and the picking of the next pope, and the black smoke turns to white smoke, and the whole ritual of all of it. And then we'll see how long it takes until we have a new pope. But we're also reflecting on the legacy as well. And a lot of the networks today were trying to predict which direction the Catholic Church will go. Will they keep leaning left, or will they pull back? And that's what we'll have to see.
Well, this pope appointed a good chunk of the cardinals who will be voting on the successors. So
Right.
Some people think they're going to fall in line and appoint the successor who is similar in vein. It was politics and more of a liberal pope. Others say that the conservatives may consolidate control and make a play to wrest this back and bring it back to more of a traditional rule of Benedict and John Paul before him. By the way, we're looking at the shot. This is the Pope was placed in a plain wooden casket. He insisted, I just want a plain wooden casket. I don't want a triple sealed coffin with lead and all the ornamentation. He also didn't want a particularly elevated platform. You can see that's kind of low. And he doesn't want to be entombed in the crypt of St. Peter's with the other popes. He wants to be separate across town in Santa Maria Maggiore, which hasn't happened. I don't think we've entombed a pope. I keep saying entombed. He actually wants to be buried in the earth under the church. So he specified that I want to be in the earth. So I guess
he didn't want a big drawn out funeral either.
What's that?
He didn't want a big drawn out funeral either. I mean, this is very consistent with how he lived his life as well, right? Pulling everything back, not wanting to be as grand as some popes before him. So it's consistent, I would say.
Did you see they put the ribbon around the papal apartments to seal the
Yes, because the idea is nobody should be able to break in or sign anything as if they are him, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the idea?
And ironically,
everything stops at this point.
He didn't live in those apartments.
Right.
He lived out back in a guest house, Santa Marta, I believe it's called. And but they have nonetheless sealed the papal apartments, which he used during the day as offices and things like that. And the person in charge now is called the Carmelengo, which is the term for the cardinal in charge until we get a new pope. So there is somebody running the church.
Yes.
It's called the Carmelengo. So it's
there's a whole system.
The ritual is just fascinating.
It really is. And it dates back so far, of course. And especially nowadays when everything is so fast, it's interesting to see how the church kind of slows down and does go back to the original rituals when it comes to the order of things, if you will, despite the fact that he was more modern. So
I was there in October and wandered into St. Peter's Square at night. So I'm enjoying looking at these.
Me too.
Looking at these pictures.
Yeah, it's been 2 years since I was there, but it's always, I just love Rome. So
it's a must
to be able to see that. Of course.
And
I was a teenager when I first went into the Vatican and saw the Sistine Chapel and all of that. And it is really awe-inspiring for sure.
But for those who might not be familiar, keep this picture up. It's very symmetrical. Those colonnades wind around both sides, almost making a complete circle. And to the right of the screen is the papal apartments and the beginning of the Vatican Museum, which is I believe one of the
overwhelming.
And it's not easy to get in, by the way.
No, the lines are really long still.
When I was there, it wasn't even easy to get in St. Peter's. Another line for that, so that comes along with it.
You can really see the wealth of the church when you go inside the Vatican. There's no doubting it.
Oh, you can. And you know what? This is already a Jubilee year, which means Rome is overcrowded to begin with.
Right.
Added on top of this, the extra interest. So I'm surprised that as you and I are looking at it, what are they, 6 hours ahead of us, that it's not that crowded.
I was saying that all day yesterday, too. I was really surprised by that as well, that it's manageable by standards in Italy right now in Rome.
They might be frightened away from all the talk.
Sorrento Positano and Praiano and Amalfi and Sorrento. We'll see. All right. So we'll be following this. Of course, the funeral is on Saturday and then the developments to pick the next pope. Are you also, I wanted to talk to you about this. This is kind of story of the day. Dan, our producer, I'm jumping ahead here. The Oscars, did you know a lot of people weren't required to vote? The voters didn't have to watch every single film that they were voting on. Did you hear this break this morning?
I heard.
I could not believe this.
I heard that on the peripheral. Well, this is why they all take advertising. Big ads out in the trade magazine so that at least you can get a voter's attention, and they send them the movies on DVDs. You know, you can watch them.
Right.
You don't have to go.
But apparently they don't watch all of them.
They don't watch all of them. Well, that's like the reviewer who doesn't read the book. before
Yeah,
writing
so
a
now
blurb, I guess.
members must watch all of the nominated films in a category to vote in that category. We're only talking category by
Yeah.
category. So this morning when I was reading this live, I'm like, is this for real? So the 98th Academy Awards will be held March 15th, 2026. But yeah, a lot of us joke about the Emmys around here too, because sometimes it's just such a crapshoot.
Yes.
Here you go. The Oscars as well,
It's fun.
apparently.
It is fun to win one, I have to say.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. All right, well, I'm going to check in with AJ for a little bit. Was it raining? Oh, you work from home today. Is that a Mike Bryce painting behind you? Yes,
Well,
that's Adele's Lemonade. That's Mike's work.
yeah, I got that at the Wickford Art Show from a local artist in Providence.
Mike Bryce.
He paints this image a lot.
I
He's got
see
it
him on
down,
Blackstone Boulevard doing it over
and I like it.
over
Yeah, he
again.
paints it a lot,
Yes.
and I do like it. Someday I'll have to give you a tour of my little place.
I
over
haven't
there.
seen that little corner. That's new. So
And you know about him.
I don't like him.
My little Danny O'Day. Am I waving goodbye or am I coming back?
I think you're waving goodbye. I'm going to
All
give you
right.
a break. I'll text you later. We
See
have
you on the
lunch,
next
as you
coffee
know.
break. By the way, when
next
I hear
Monday.
that music with the accordion, it just cracks me up.
What's
I
that
feel
guy's
like
name?
I'm
Corey,
like in
right?
Moulin Rouge, sipping
Corey?
a double espresso.
Isn't he the local musician Corey with the harmonium?
Oh, Corey's
amazing.
Corey Pesatoro.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he's more than just a local musician. He's the
You're right.
world's best accordionist.
Yes, he's very friendly. He's very outgoing, and he's
You know what? I'll have
talented,
him
too.
come in and we'll do a coffee break.
Oh, let's do that.
There you go.
Let's do that.
I will book
Absolutely.
him. All right.
Okay, done. Check that off the list. Sounds good. All right, Gene, I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Shout out to Mike Bryce and that painting behind you. He's got
Got it.
lots of Rhode Island iconic images. So sorry, AJ, I'm making you wait.
Yeah, no worries.
We had a real rainy start to the morning, but it's looking better now, huh? Good morning.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're kind of waiting for a little bit of some better conditions here in Rhode Island and southeast Massachusetts. There's some of those rain showers pushed through the overnight. As we can see, Smithfield over 1/4 of an inch, Boston as well. Providence, TF Green only 0.05, so not really helping too much of that fertilizer may have in your lawn. Newport around 1/10 of an inch, but majority of us not seeing a whole lot of rain unless you're really in northern Rhode Island or northern parts of Bristol County. It's even Taunton 0.05 for that 24-hour rainfall total. We do have a little bit of some fog to talk about this morning, not really through the Providence area, but the closer you get to the south coast, we're starting to see some improvements, but Newport, Westerly, as well as Block Island, we're just around a half a mile of visibility only about an hour ago. And if we take a look at some of our webcams too, you do see a little bit of that lingering, but we're trading the fog, the clouds for a little bit more sunshine as you head for the afternoon hours. And today, yes, it is Earth Day. And of course, we're celebrating with a beautiful afternoon. These temperatures are expected to rise on up very quickly. By noontime, we're already up to 65, a few peaks of sunshine. And through the middle of the afternoon, those temperatures continuing to climb, low mid 70s away from the immediate coastline. Will be a little bit cooler for those locations. Next few days, looking like high pressure will be remaining in place. So, Alison, we're not just talking about a gorgeous afternoon today, but Wednesday and Thursday, both looking very nice. A little bit cooler along the immediate coastline, but definitely no complaints for
that. Sounds great.
Season.
See, this is why we get up at 3 a.m, so we can enjoy the afternoon, right? Get the work done and then enjoy Rhode Island and southeastern Mass in the afternoon. So that's nice.
Definitely heading outside at some point.
Yes, me too. I have no excuse. Betty and Basil are getting extra long walks today. All right, AJ, thanks. I think I'll see you tomorrow morning. And for the rest of you, news and weather updates we're always uploading on our social channels, of course, and turnto10.com. And I'll be back with Mario and the team first thing, bright and early, 4:30 tomorrow morning, as we thank you for turning to 10. Have a great day.